We'll go back to what's the beat. Okay, bringing in one of our topics. It's called the separation. Most of us don't come into this sport to make friends. We're either forced into this sport by parents or because we love to drum or dance. But it's proven that drill team has brought some everlasting friends into our lives. As time moves on, one of us may receive a leadership position on the team, or may even start a team. How do you draw the line and separate friendship and drill team? Will it be hard to discipline your friends? What if your friend wasn't receptive to the methods of discipline? It also has been situations in drill team where friends have been torn apart. To this day, they won't speak, won't say anything to each other. Drill team can also cause a wedge between friends. Is something you love worth doing so much, worth losing someone you love so much?
Well, for me, I've met my bestest through drill team. So, and I mean, she's even had to suspend me. Like before, I was like captain. Like I was like a co-captain, and I called somebody out because they was talking too much trash. So I said, "See me outside." And I had to be suspended for 2 weeks. I've done a practice, but I couldn't stand in front of the squad and make any calls or anything like that. And at first, I was pissed because that friend thing was there. I called Tyree my brother. I've known him since I was like 13, him and Devin. And they are like some of the most closest people, like as close as family, as close as it can get. And so I was just over it. Like, how can any of y'all suspend me? Like, she was talking. And I was as calm as I could be for as long as I could be. After a while, I think she wanted to rumble, so I asked her, "What's up?
What you want to do?
Let's get this over with, because I'm tired of talking." Like,
we're not condoning.
We're not. That was, I was like 22, 23, or whatever. But my feelings were hurt at first. And I was just like, I can't believe they suspended me. So my first 2 practices, I just came, I didn't speak to nobody. I still came to practice though. I wasn't like, I'm not coming. I still came to practice, but I just didn't say nothing to anybody, cause my feelings was hurt. And then I had to realize that that's just, she had to do her job. As directors, they had to do their job. And if I was doing my job as a co-captain, we wouldn't have even been arguing, because I would have just been like, whatever, and kept it moving and told her to sit down. And that would have been the easier thing to do, and there would not have been any, I'll see you outside. So I definitely had to take a step back. So the second week was definitely a lot easier for me. I'm gonna roll this punishment and go on, and I'm not gonna let it happen again, because that's something that you can't do. So for me, it didn't break a relationship. I can say that I've had people come back and tell me that, like, outside of Tiana, that's probably the only person I've never had people actually come back and be like, well, and there's been things that have happened that most people don't even know, like between like the switching of the teams, times that we were supposed to be a part of one team and things didn't work out and things like that. But I never was just like, FFB or something like that, and then I don't like friendship like that. So and then turn around and gotta speak. I be giving people like the side eye, like I don't know how y'all could keep like arguing and being like and doing that. I don't understand the point in it at all. Anything I say about you, I can say to your face, so that nobody makes the assumption that I'm talking behind your back. I have no problem with saying anything to your face, just because. What you gonna do? Punch me in my face?
That's
Just know.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. That was when you were on a team. Being as though you're a director now, have you had to like suspend? I know you had to reprimand people, but have you had to suspend any of like your friends or someone that you were close to, but outside of your team?
So a lot of, as Rodney said before in in our recap, I have a lot of people that have been with me since I made KBA. Mm-hmm. Either our first year KBA or a second year KBA. However, I have a lot of people that are still with me. So some of them were even like my intermediates, like PB was my intermediate, Chrissy was my intermediate, mm-hmm. and they're all marching on open. So for the most part, we just had that level of respect mm-hmm. already there because some of them were underneath me. I occasionally make somebody like Angelica. We bump heads occasionally. Mm-hmm. That's my baby. I love her to death. But sometimes she'll just be yapping, and I just like, shut up, just shut up. Like, but I'm just saying. No, you're not saying anything. Like, just shut up. But it doesn't get to the point where it's just like, we about to go outside and rumble and I need to suspend you. Mm-hmm. Like, it never gets to, I've never had anybody like disrespect me to that point. And possibly because my mindset might roll me backwards and we might go outside and rumble. So, but I've never had anybody like tested to that point. So I've never had to suspend anyone. Right. However, on my team, I do feel like some people battle the friends and the authority, and so it comes a time where it's just like we're told to do something and everybody doesn't necessarily want to do, mm-hmm. and or that it's feedback. It's always a lot of like feedback, and I just sit back because I'm not standing in front of the squad. It wouldn't be me if we were. However, when I just sit back and I try to have the conversations like you have to learn how to sit. If people feel like, that's the young mind in some people, if they feel like, oh, like, I can't believe they said that to me or whatever, they'll eventually get over it, like I did. Right. I got over it. That was something that I wanted to do, and that was somewhere that I wanted to be, and I got over it. It took me 2 practice days, and we practiced 3 out of with whatever. But by the next week, Bonnie's mind was on straight, and it never happened again. So you sometimes have to set people straight mm-hmm. before they realize that they're not playing with you. It's not always necessarily, it's how you go about it. And some people just be like, well, they're not really talking to me because we homies. And that's where the problem lies mm-hmm. in there, because that's where their mindset is at. The only time I ever think that you're not talking to me is when I know that I'm actually not doing what you're saying. So you're clearly not saying it to me. However, I hear what you're saying, so I know not to do it. But I know that you're not, at this point in time, what you're saying doesn't actually refer to me because I didn't do it. I'm doing what I got to do. So somebody around this room, and I wish they get it together because I'm tired of doing it over and over and over again. Like, but however, I've never had that form of disrespect. Mm-hmm. And I do have that. I might give my friends like 1 or 2. I give it to everybody actually, just because I love everybody. Like, that's just the type of person I am. So I'll give everyone. I don't give anyone more chances than the other, mm-hmm. but I'm just that type of person that I kind of give you 1 or 2 times to try me before I step in your world. So, and that's for everybody as far as like on the line. Right. I give everybody the equal amount of chance before I have to like
but
step in.
But you're still like a little bit more like, today, like, or don't do it again.
Yeah, and that's me. Like, I'll be like, I'm gonna let this go.
Versus somebody
I'm gonna let this go. Why are y'all trying my patience today? Like, not today, no. And so when they be like, Bonnie is going off today, I'm just going like do what it is, what she asked to do, or go home. Pick one. I don't care. That's it. But that's it. And I don't have no mercy. I'm gonna give you a hug when I see you out in the street. You can come over and get a drink afterwards. I don't care. However, in between that time, we're not friends. And that's where a lot of people have problems.
So you ran dramatic. with a lot of your friends on the squad, how did that work for you?
I mean, I think that,
It was hard.
yeah, a little bit. But I think it was karma. Because, I mean, before me...
That's honest.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I think it was karma. Before me, as you all know, like Jamal was one of the like family members of Dramatic Impact, and he was the original stepmaster of Dramatic Impact. I gave Jamal, I think I had the worst attitude, and you know that's I think because a lot of the other members were already drill team associated, so they kind of understood like what this was, and it was like for me, it's like, oh, okay, this is a drill team. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of people throw that around. It's only drill team. It's only drill team. And I didn't understand, but you're here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like you're here, like so you have to abide by these rules when you're here, and if you don't want to, then you have to go. And it's just drill team, so
Then it's
why
all
are you
drill
mad?
team, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I didn't understand it back then. I used to be, you know, oh, I don't care, I'll leave. And then I used to realize, like, I'm angry, I can't even go to practice. Like, or I'm angry, like, you know, and at that time, it took for Jamal to leave and, you know, for me to have to, you know, step up, not even really step up, because I think me being promoted or stepping up was more so, yeah, like I wanted it more than anyone else on the team at the time. You get what I'm saying?
You wanted to see this team
because
succeed.
at the time, you know, I had already, you know, by that time I had, you know, started to develop like, okay, like, you know, we are, you know, a good team, and I do want to be here, and it started making sense to me like why I had mixed feelings back then.
It wasn't just drill team no more.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. Because, you know me, what you mean?
Because how you said, oh, it's just drill team. It's just
Oh, yeah, it
drill
wasn't
team.
just drill
And then
team
it
no more.
started getting into your heart, so it wasn't just
You
drill
know,
team.
and
no
Jamal
more.
was my friend, you know, before the whole drill team, you know, thing even came about. So it was kind of like, what? Like, Bonnie said, like, you really gonna do it to me? So, and it was like an ego thing, like, we friends on a regular. If we ain't in practice, I ain't gonna let you talk to me like that. So I know I'm not gonna let you talk to me like that in front of everybody. And now, like, I'm being embarrassed, and now I look like the small person. So I'm definitely gonna bite back. Naturally, I'm a Leo.
And you never just thought about just not doing it, like not getting smart or not. I don't like to be reprimanded at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's an issue for me, period. At work, everything. So I just always cross my T's, dot my I's. I just never like for you to come back and say you didn't do something
right.
or you didn't do it right. I hate that. It annoys me to this day. Even when he'd be like, wife, you missed this part. In my mind, I'm saying, shut the fuck up. Like, so what? But I'm like, what part did I miss? Like, I try to give myself together, like, what part did I miss? She'd be like, you forgot to do this. I'd be like, all right, let's go and try.
I think it was more so like, for me, it was more so like I said in the beginning, I really didn't understand like the hunger and like, you know, I didn't really understand like, and then, you know, it was like it was a thing like, you know, you kind of want to tell me to do this, but you don't do it. And you drove us. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't separate, okay, well, he needs to step out, you know what I'm saying, to watch, you know, and get there. Like, I didn't understand, like, it, because to me, we were all one team, and that's what we were taught from the beginning. Like, there's no I in the team, so why are you standing out? I didn't understand it. Like,
well, see, I know on ID, we stood out, but we still drilled. So, like, I would stand out, but I would do it facing them.
yeah, so, like, I think, like, maybe because, you know, like, Dramatic Impact was a lot of movement. We was all, you know, so it was, if he was to do it, he wasn't watching.
And you couldn't see it.
You couldn't see, like, you know, so I didn't understand it, and it took for me to step up and be a stepmaster and have friends on my squad, you know. The whole squad was my friends because that's where I met all of them. You get what I'm saying? So I met them all there, so it was hard for me to, like, separate it in the beginning. You know, I always gave my friends that were more closer to me, my best friends that I met through drill team, I always gave them more leeway a little bit. And I wouldn't say on purpose. I just think it was just that I just knew that, or I thought that that if I was to say this, like, it would hurt our friendship. And I believe that our friendship was more than just drill team. So
I believe that then why were you afraid?
Why? What?
If you believe that your friendship was more than just drill team.
I believe that our friendship was more than just drill team, but I believe that our friendship was more than just drill team, but we met through drill team,
Got it.
and I didn't think that they would be receptive of me telling them, or discipline them, because there were times that they weren't. And Najee was around for certain times. Like, it was times where, my best friends didn't even drill.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even attend practice when I'm, and they with me till 5:59 and practice starts at 6.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I had to, and it took for me to just realize, like, the friendship and that may not work. And when they understand, I can't make them, because at first I was trying to make them understand, like, come on, like, we gotta be good, you my friend. And I was hoping on the friendship card too. So at that time I could, like I said, I could separate it, but I couldn't, because it was kind of like, I know I need to, but it's like, I just didn't want it's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And I can say that I think that's how I got through my dramatic impact years, with not losing my friends, because I wasn't
so stern.
Because when I was stern and so strict, I was left with just me and maybe the newer people who wanted the same vision as me, and it was like maybe 4 or 5 of us, and that was the best thing for me. But
you couldn't see it at the time.
So, but here's the question now. Where does that leave you though with your friends now? Not to say that they're not your friends, but on that level of where you're at day to day, can you say that you and your friends are just as together all the time, outside of everyday life? You gotta work, you got your, your love life, whatever. I've noticed for me that outside of Tiana, most of my friends that I met through drill team, we didn't actually drill together. That were like some of my closest friends. I will never call anyone on ID my friend, because we were all family. They are totally excluded, because I will never have anything horrible to say about my family. Like, we were literally brothers and sisters. On weekends when we had nothing to do, we were in Delaware, still spent summers at Tiana house in Delaware. Like, we were literally, and they're like night and day, still in Tiana. Like, on drill time, still and Tiana can't stand each other. But when we leave it, we all still jump in that truck and ride to her apartment. If practice is over, it's time to, and she's like, so, you get on my nerves. Like, but it just is what it is. However, any other friends that I have, had, some people I definitely have to step back and be like, no, they were really just like associates, because I realized that drill team was the only thing that we had in common. And because we were on the same team, you ever notice them people that like, when they on the same team? So I have like this rule, when people join my drill team, I don't necessarily become friends with them right away on Facebook, because I feel like that's how people, like, everybody become Joe when you first join the drill team. So if we aren't already friends, like, if I don't already know you and you join the drill team, I'm not your friend right away. Like, I let like a first competition go past, or you see them perform, because I also feel like that's where people like get in all your business. Like, they only friends now because they must be on the same drill team. That's how everybody starts to become nosy. And it's not like I'm trying to please people, but at the same time, I'm just like, I've noticed that pattern with other people. So that's something, something that I don't want to be drawn in.
And then when you notice stuff like that, you be like that, like, okay, I don't want to seem like one of them.
Right.
Well, I can say that I can say that the people, majority of the people who I've drew with on Dramatic Impact, I can say that I can call them friends. Like, because for the most part, it was like, we always had those core people who were always there, and over time we developed, real friendships. And I just think it's just hard to just separate it. I don't think that we did have our times, like everybody, we had our times, but I think now that it's over, I think that we all still have great relationships. Like, we don't see each other on a daily or as like we used to, but I think that just came with us just growing up and, dealing with like our personal lives.
I just honestly feel like people aren't mature, and everybody's not mature enough to handle people going to like other teams and things like that. Like, and then sometimes I feel like people make it bigger than what it bigger than what it is. Like, I've had people leave my team and I don't rightfully care. Like, I just be like, oh, I mean, I guess like they went to whatever team for whatever reason, whatever.
Practice? You want to go out?
I don't even care that much. To me, actually, I think that things always for me gets fuzzy because then it's all this shade being thrown like online, and then people like, oh, they just mad because I went so and so, and they mad because they on my team now, or da 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 da. And I be like, they really don't understand that. Somebody like me, I really don't care. Like, I don't go be on the team. Like, I never understand why that is like the deciding factor. Nene left. She went to first she went to Modern Legends, and then she went to Iconic. And that's still my friend. Like, I still speak to Nene. She still come play with the kids when she see them. Like, there was never any ill will. Like, when Nene left, there was and she's not that type of person.
Right. Yeah,
she's not that type of person. Even when she stopped and she went back to her home and she stopped drilling with KPA, she that wasn't that person. I drilled with her for one season. That was it. But I love Nene is a very sweet person. Like, so I didn't have no issues. Like, I saw MMG. You was looking good out there, girl. Like, I see her, hey, Nene, I speak to the kids, whatever. I just think that people get caught up and they make maybe they have outsiders making situations bigger than what it is. But that's where the things like social media, that's where all that stuff get caught up in, because it's just like, oh, so-and-so, like, they mad, you think this person throwing shade, and somebody may very well be. I just would like to be the first to say that I don't care. Like, those be things that I just don't necessarily care about. They went, let them go, it's not that big of a deal. Like, somebody, like, when Tyler left, I would just make like fun of Tyler because that's what we always do anyway. But I wasn't mad at Tyler. He did what was best for Tyler. And I was going off for Tyler yesterday. He did what was best for Tyler.
Right.
I'm not mad that anybody decided that.
Not saying there's anything wrong with your squad, but maybe that's where he needed to, or not even saying that's where he needed to go, but, just a change of scenery is where he needed to, just like blossom.
And that was fine. I mean, everybody has their own thing. Like, some people pick with people or say whatever just because, that may be their way of showing that they're not really mad, but they are mad, like, or whatever the case may be.
But if you do it normally, then, you should expect it.
No, there was some things that I got out of people when a lot of different people left my team within the different seasons that I felt like people were, like, secretly mad, but then be like, I don't really give a, like, but then you be like, keep coming at the person. But I think you really give a, because you just keep coming at them, and there's really like no reason. I've never not spoke to somebody because they left.
I came to KBA and I went back to Jamaica.
Yeah, I wasn't mad.
So have you ever lost a friend over your team?
No.
On the verge? Have you ever been on the verge of losing a friend on your team? Over your team, I'm sorry.
To a certain extent, yes.
Donnie?
Not that I would let go down. No. So if on that person's end, maybe, but not. Nothing to me has ever been.
I don't think like as Bonnie, it wasn't more so a friend. It was like someone who may have been an associate with me on the squad. Like I said, majority were my friends,
But see, I fall in the category how Ronnie said, you fall on that brother, sister, friend. You fall in that category so many times when you're dealing with your friends and everything like that. That is that thought in your mind, like, I don't want to be this friend no more.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't want to have nothing to do. I don't want to have nothing to do.
Because you're so hard for your team. It's like, you my friend, and like you can't understand, like it hurt sometimes. That's why I say that was my problem was separating, because it hurt like to.
And then as you being a captain or director or whatever, where does your separation come in, like, with that part? Like, how do you separate that?
For me as a director, it's hard communicating amongst directors.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 3 of us. And so...
Key is your wife, Val's your husband. How does that work?
Right. So if Val's getting on my nerves, I go to Kia.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm getting on Val's nerves, I go to Kia.
Oh, yeah, so y'all like the children that's playing the parents.
Yeah,
Parent.
if I ain't feeling Kia, I go to Val. If Kia ain't feeling me, she go to Val. And nobody come to me because I'm the nice one. So, like, I go where to whomever I'm feeling at the time.
Mm-hmm.
If we all need a powwow because we ain't feeling somebody else, then we powwow. But for the most part, that's normally how it goes. Typically, I like to just ask, like, am I wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just tell me if I'm right or I'm wrong in the situation, and then whatever.
Right.
If I'm outvoted, then I'm outvoted. Like, I'm not really mad if I'm outvoted. Kia and Val are different individuals. They're different species altogether. So their level of, like, shady, angry, and whatever is just like things that most people can't tolerate, and I'm the only one that's just like,
You understand that?
I'll handle it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't say anything, you definitely don't say anything.
Wait, which one am
I'll
I
handle
Kia
it,
about?
you Kia.
Okay.
And you definitely don't say anything. Val is like, don't make a sound. I got it.
Kia, you
And
definitely don't say anything.
Definitely don't say anything. So that's kind of, and so our friendships play into that, because sometimes I'll be like, well, I don't really know how to say that to her because I don't know how she's going to feel, and I'll be like, I'm not saying it because it's gonna be a big blow up, and nobody wants to. Then he gonna be like, ain't nobody playing for y'all. You know what? Let's just separate the team. It's gonna be Zodiac. It's gonna be freelance. Just forget it. Don't nobody wanna go through that. I just be like, kid, you got that.
Go talk to him.
You got that. Go tell him what happened, cause I gotta hear it when we go home. So you go tell him, cause you going the other way. I'll hear it later, but I'll ignore him. So while he talking, I'll just.
Alright, could you tell him your secret?
He knows.
Oh, okay.
That's why he mad. Okay. He be talking. I just changed the baby diaper. You understand what I'm saying, babe? I got
Definitely.
it. I'll handle it. It's fine. Baby, okay, you're bottom. We got it. So it's for that. It makes it like a little. Our friendships definitely come into play, and Val is always the first person to be like, you got to set friendships aside. Right. So I do understand in that aspect. When it comes down to friendships, as far as like the people on the team, because Val's pretty close with a lot of the drummers. Some of them he called like his very best friends. But I can say for him, that doesn't mean anything. Like he cusses everybody out. Yeah. He doesn't care. So I've witnessed it now that I'm a drummer for Enhet. So he cusses all out. So and I just be like, people be talking, I turn around like,
I can't even say nothing.
Cause here he comes. He give you the look like, I'm like, I told you to be quiet. We about to be in trouble. Like, come on. As far as, and Kia too doesn't really deal like as far as friendships. Like it's just like whatever, and then afterwards you're still my boo. For me, again, I give everybody like that. Those couple of chances. I like to be fair across the board. So if I'm going to give a friend a chance, I have to give someone else the same chance for me. So if I'm going to give chances instead of not giving chances, then I'm just going to give them to everybody before I go off. So that's my feeling into it. Because I'm just that. That's just my type of person.
What kind of advice would you give to someone just becoming a leader in this situation with friends and everything like that?
I try to tell him, you don't have any friends when we're standing on the line. Like, if me as a director have to abide by what you're saying, then your friend should be your friend after practice, and they have to abide by what you're saying at the time. So if you tell us to go full out and they don't feel like going full out, then they have to reap the same benefit. Like, they have to reap what they sow as well. So you either make them sit down or whatever the case may be. Like, you have to be able to tell your friend, get it together. And if they give you some type of talk back, then you either have to say sit down because you're not feeling it, or be like, I don't know who you're talking to. However, this is what I said do, and this is what we're going to do, and that's it. So I've been trying to work with Art on that, because he's still learning how to set his friendships aside. So I know for somebody like me, I try to tell him that, and he's just a choreographer, not actually, he doesn't have to set his friendships aside on the drum line, because he drums, and he know that afterwards him and Val gonna walk back to my house, and they gonna be having a whole conversation about how practice went and da 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 da. And me and him have like a lot of conversations where he'd be like, well, I see what Val was saying and da 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 da. So I know that it's a learning curve for a lot of people, but I would definitely try to tell them that you don't have any friends going into this. When I first started drilling, I was on Genuine Magic first, Purple and Gold. And then I was on Elegant Cavaliers. We moved on to Elegant Cavaliers. And everybody was my family. Like, those were all my cousins. And I was like 11 on the open squad, what they consider open at that time, before, Elks was seniors. Right. And that was like 2 years before the whole AMA thing. And so I was what you consider open, and they were all damn near grown. Like, I was 11, I was in front of like 16 and 17-year-olds, and my mom was in front of the juniors. So if I felt like somebody like disrespected my mom, then I'm like trying to get smart with this person and that person. But I had to learn that, like, even though these are my cousins, that I don't have any friends while we're online, and that's where it started. My aunt didn't play that. Like, you don't have any friends. Right, when you're online, you don't have any friends. Now, when y'all on y'all way back to 54th and Chester Avenue, then y'all could be whatever bosom buddies y'all want, but you don't have any friends. And I learned that there. And it does become hard, but the majority of my friends that I've made have been through drill team. And I would say me giving a couple of chances before I snap has always been what's gotten me thus this far. And been able to keep my friends, because I do give you the chance before I go off. Now, once I go off, you brought it on yourself. And typically, I don't necessarily have those problems again. So that worked for me. It doesn't work for everybody to keep giving 1 or 2 chances before you go off. But I've also had in my mind that, like you said, you felt like that's what kept your friendships. And I just feel like at the end of the day, that's what keeps me from actually blacking out and doing something that would totally ruin our friendships, because I feel like a friendship is very imperishable if you put your hands on me. We will never be friends again. Once we rumble, we'll never be friends again. I don't believe in that we can fight and then we can be friends later. Like, the fact that you put your hands on me is enough. Like, that just me. I don't want that type of friendship. I don't want any type of relationship like that.
I don't want you to think you do that again.
I don't want any I don't want that from any relationship, to think that we are just going to keep putting our hands on each other that's the outcome every time we don't agree on something, that we'll just fight it out and hug it out after we fight it out. That's not a good message to send across. So that's very imperishable. Like, that's unrepairable to me, and you cannot repair that at all. So I would totally say that that's what helped me keep from having to like fight people and things like that, and keep my positions and keep my friends.
So
the only advice I would give someone becoming a new leader would be, I learned this from Darius, just like as we keep saying, just learn how to separate the personal, from friendship, the personal from business, or friendship and your team, however you want to put it. But I can't really give you a recipe or a way to do that, because it's like, you know, that's something you have to find out on your own. But I learned this from Darius, like, you know, like, because I always was the type of person that's like the way you might say something, it might come out your mouth, and you might not be meaning to be rude, but the way you might come out your mouth, I'm all in your, like, well, why you say it like that? I'm all in your mannerisms. So it's like, I learned just like, as long as you just play by the book. Everything all but just stay by the black and white. Don't do nothing for, like Bonnie said, cross your T's, if you dot your I's. But if I'm saying something to you that will help you progress within drill team, or if I'm telling you something, or you know, that's gonna help you like here, then it shouldn't be no problem. If I'm not calling you dirty, you know, or nothing like that. Like if I'm not
disrespecting you.
If I'm not disrespecting you, then it really shouldn't be a problem. Mm-hmm. Especially if you play by the book. Play by the book, you always see.
Yeah, I feel the same way you do. If I'm not disrespecting you, it shouldn't be a problem. Especially if you're under my leadership. If I'm under your leadership, I'll feel the same way. I'm not gonna talk to you if I don't want to be spoken to that way. I'm not gonna say something to you if I don't want to be spoken to that way. Or even if I put my feet in their shoes sometimes and be like you said, chances at the chances at the chance. Then you have to snap sometimes, because it's like, you should see this. You're at this time, if we speaking about a person on open squad, right, at a point, you should see this because you're grown. Mm-hmm. If I'm working with my juniors, you should see it because I just told you about it more than once. So now I'm gonna get you. So I do that. I take a step out, the choreographer, director shoes, and thinking like a little kid, and then with the adults, it's just like, no, I'm not. Listen, you're an adult. I shouldn't have to be telling you this, for real. Like, but the advice that I would give them is from 6 to whatever time you're practicing, you don't have friends. You don't have friends from whatever. If you practice at 5, 4, 3, whatever time zone you in, whatever time you practice.
And that doesn't mean being nasty.
Yeah, it doesn't. You know what?
Being a leader, when you teach, it's not all about showing somebody a routine. Sometimes you have to, communicate verbally, like, just to, get some things across. It ain't gonna work. You keep shut up. Like,
you doing it wrong.
Or you have to explain to them why they need to be quiet. Like, because this is, explain to them why you have these rules and things in place, instead of just keep telling them, and like they don't understand why. Like, okay, you keep telling me not to do it. Like, even though that's the rule, you telling me, but why do you want me? Like, if you have an understanding as to why you're telling me to do it, then maybe you can understand and you can decide if this is for you or if it's not.
Right. Yeah.
And if they're your friends, then they're just gonna come in and do things by the book. And that be it. You can definitely have a successful practice or team or whatever with friends, as long as everybody comes in and does what they have to do. As long as I don't have to keep telling you 35 times to do something because you wandering off here to go check your phone, or going over here to you just went somewhere and didn't tell nobody. You know that you ain't supposed to be doing that. You wouldn't be doing it anywhere else. Like, so you're not supposed to be doing it. Respect me. Right. And as long as you come in and respect me, then I'm going to respect you, and there are no issues. Yeah. And that's where the problem lies in that. There is a lack of respect because people think that they're friends. And so you do have to be able to draw that line. So that goes for leaders and those who have friends in leadership. Respect them, they'll respect you, and just know that neither one of y'all have friends when it's time to get on this line and practice. Whoever's standing in front of you, if that's your friend, that's not your friend right then and there. Like, respect them and they'll respect you.
And then after whatever time you're done, let's go home, let's get something to eat.
Yeah.
Okay?